In this demonstration, I just want to visualize a little bit of what's happening on the processor side on my system, the system that I'm recording this on. And you see two tools, one of which I've showed you before, CPU-Z, but the one at left is called Securable. This is an old tool. If you've ever heard of the security expert Steve Gibson, I'm a big fan of his. This is a piece of freeware you can download from his website, Gibson Research Corporation. Look in the exercise files, I give you links to this stuff, but Securable used to be more important when you weren't sure a system you were working on was a 64-bit capable or just a 32-bit processor. You see that the results here echo the type of CPU and its speed. It is in fact a 64-bit processor. It does support hardware DEP. Now DEP is an old term. DEP stands for Data Execution Prevention, and that's the old term for the X bit, the execute disable bit that we just talked about. And you'll notice here hardware virtualization says yes. So my system does in fact offer those extensions, and I know that this is an Intel and not an AMD processor. CPU-Z is an excellent tool for that. Let's see what we have on my system. It looks like my processor is an i7-4790 Haswell. It looks like my socket, and it's so awesome that by running a tool like CPU-Z off of a thumb drive on a customer's computer, before you even crack the case and look at the motherboard, inspecting it with your eyes, you can know exactly what to expect. I have an 1150 contact LGA socket. And if we look at the different instruction sets, there's a whole history behind a lot of these. But the one I want to draw your attention to is VTX, which means that virtualization is enabled here. There's our core speed. This is the core speed of the processor. Notice that the bus speed on the motherboard is a lot slower. As I said, you always run into a bottleneck one way or the other. CPU-Z also tells us what we have going on in terms of cache. We have L1 split into data and instructions, level 2, and an 8 megabyte level 3 cache. Actually, it looks like there's a whole other tab here in CPU-Z that shows us that. If we go over to motherboard, let's see if there's anything interesting here. We can quickly see what kind of chipset we're dealing with. And we can see what our RAM outlay is, paying particular attention to the frequency, 800 megahertz. As I said, I don't know if the day will ever come when CPU and RAM run at the same speed.